Hey, and welcome to Supercast Brothers. I'm Jonno, otherwise known as Jonathan. I think I said that in the wrong order. Happy New Year.
And I'm Zantok, otherwise known as Lister. And do we have an established order anymore? I don't know, but it's 2020, and oh god, why?
I don't know, but I think that we need to start this year off with a bang. Let's show them a thing or three.
Wait, but I only have one thing prepared. I don't have three.
What's the one thing?
Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Ah, I think there
Although,
may be three things involved here.
I was just thinking about that. We might actually have three things involved in this, so maybe we can show them three. You know, I don't like that
Yep.
start. I want to redo that. That was bad.
Okay.
That was bad.
Okay.
Sometimes you start recording just like, that was a shit intro. I got to do that again.
No, I expected it.
Yeah.
Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan, otherwise known as Jono,
And I'm Zantok, otherwise known as Lister, and welcome to 2020.
and welcome to Super Cast Brothers. That was a special appearance by Barbara Walters, if you didn't know.
Well, I mean, I didn't say this is 2020, but sure, fine, whatever, we'll go with that.
Close enough. The world's changing, all sorts of things, for better and for worse.
The world's on fire,
Well,
or at least part of it is.
that's also very true and very topical. Um, and to that end, um, first of all, happy 2020. We have had episode 10 of our Smash or Dash with Jamie Alamora that came up in January, which we actually recorded in mid-December, and I sat on for more weeks than I should have. I'm sorry to everyone that listens to our podcast for the break.
People
It
listen to
was,
our podcast.
yeah, like Peter Sotero. Hey, Peter.
Hey, what's up?
No, we are thrilled to finally have some new listeners. Uh, Goodness gracious. I am excited for the new year. I'm sure you are too in some ways. At least it gets us some new characters along the way in Smash, like universally lauded Byleth.
And hey, we're gonna get six more characters after Byleth for Smash. And, it's gonna take some extra time to find out who they all are and get them in the game. And that just gives us more time to talk about them.
Oh, and we will be talking about them.
Oh, yes.
But today, I will say that I'm looking forward to Merlinus. But today, it's a Smashtopia episode, and we're going to be diving into a character we've been hoping for and planning for quite a while, aren't we?
Yeah, we were actually wanting to do this character a lot earlier in the cycle. I think that we were initially had them planned as like our second Smashtopia, if I remember correctly. But we had to end up putting them off because we just didn't feel ready. And we didn't like our ideas we had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just like, yeah, maybe we should do something else and revisit them later.
Yeah,
And I
that
think
was
we're
for
ready.
episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at episode 11 now, so it's been quite a while because that was like October and this is now January. Awesome.
Yes.
Uh Gengar was who we replaced it with, and if Gengar was what we got out of a bad situation, then I'm glad we had that bad situation
That
because
was a
that
great
was
episode.
awesome. Hmm. And hopefully this one will be too. We'll see.
I get the feeling our movesets might be quite a bit more similar this time around.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Well, I think without much further ado, I think that we can show our audience a thing or three.
Indeed. Of course, I'm sure they already know from the title of the episode, but for those of you that somehow have not seen the title, on today's episode of Smashtopia, we are going to be discussing Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a character who many thought was going to be a lock for the base roster in Smash Ultimate, but his game released just a bit too late for Sakurai to really consider the character, which is a shame because Sakurai pretty much admitted, yeah, if this game was done sooner, I would have put him in. But
Hmm.
now we had to think about how we would treat Rex, and we had some preliminary discussion that we had to go through with this character because we kind of saw that there were three possible ways that you could approach a moveset for Rex. Either you have
Hmm.
just Rex himself, and that's the only person on the field, or you could have Pyra, his blade involved, and either she would be in the background as a Pokemon trainer type deal, somehow assisting Rex, or she would be fighting on the field alongside him. Or the third
Hmm.
option was a swapping mechanic between Pyra and another blade in the game that Rex can get, Mythra.
Hmm.
And after debating about it between ourselves, because we wanted to make sure we were on the same field of playing here before we actually made our moves, since we had like completely different mechanics involved, we decided to go ahead and have the blade switching mechanic. So we'll be discussing not just Rex, but Pyra and Mythra as well.
Right, and I think that we made the right decision there ultimately because when you're approaching a character in Smash Brothers, generally as time has gone on, I won't necessarily say like super early on, 64 Melee, where a lot more how they got characters created. There's less to work with.
Yes.
But now Sakurai has been like from Brawl forward, especially going to SSB4 and Ultimate, getting these characters that draw so well from their game, from their source material.
Mm,
So in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you have a driver like Rex and you have the blade both on the field at the same time. That's what we're doing here.
right.
Huzzah.
And the way that we had imagined that, just to make sure that everything is clear here, we're not picturing like an Ice Climber site scenario where Popo and Nana can desync and you can lose Nana but you can still fight as Popo. It's more of a Joker and Arsene type of deal, where Pyra is always going to be out there with Rex, but she's always going to be following like right behind him, like lockstep
Hmm.
attacking with him, much like how Arsene is always right behind Joker. We didn't want this to be
Yeah.
like a desyncing type issue. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like Pyro's going to be mimicking his attacks, much like Nana mimics Pope's attacks. This is more of a close followed assist.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's I think we can still have that aesthetic there where there's that green band of light and with the affinity link.
Yes.
But unlike in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we're not going to let that affinity link be something that affects the characters
No, it's really
too
just an
much because
aesthetic.
because you can draw, so I don't want to contradict myself with my previous statement about drawing as much from the source material as possible. But there's a point where if you keep doing that, the character will not be as fun to play as. So for the sake of levity and ease of use, when you have a character like Rex who's going to end up being more technical anyway,
Yeah.
uh, we decided to just nix the affinity link being anything more but aesthetic.
There's also just some mechanics for a game that just don't translate well to Smash. Like, if you were to take Cloud from Final Fantasy VII and try to have made him be turn based in Smash, that would not have worked. It's
No.
impossible. We
Hmm.
might have been able to come up with something for the Affinity League, but we both kind of just agreed to just let it be an aesthetic, and that's just where it's going to stay. We didn't
Hmm.
really want to meddle with other plans that we had.
Agreed. Oh, clearly because we agreed on this before this podcast. Whoops.
Well, yes, that's what we were saying.
Yeah. So before we get into the nitty gritty of the actual moveset, do you want to, or should I, or whoever, go into the history of Rex and Pyra?
You know, I think you understand their history a bit better than I do. We both played through the game, but I feel like you'll be able to better speak to who they are as characters and their game.
Okay. Well, that works. Rex is the main protagonist and the lead playable character of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is the second mainline Xenoblade Chronicles game, but the third overall, which is not as confusing as Bravely Default having Bravely Default 2 and Bravely Second. But
Or Kingdom Hearts 258 over 2 days.
oh, what a lovely title. I love that. Um, but yeah, given the circumstances that lead Rex towards living with the Titan Azurta, traveling the Cloud Sea, as it were. The primary setting of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Titans being these gigantic, or at least they become
Continental
that way,
Beasts.
continental beasts that are sentient and generally very docile and helpful creatures. Well, Rex lives with Azurta at the start of the game. and it comes after, in some sort of undisclosed fashion, his background is pretty, um, hazy. His parents died, and he finds himself with a caretaker named Corinne and Azurta living on Azurta's back. And he's pretty happy-go-lucky. He works as a salvager, traveling from the Cloud Sea down towards the Earth to collect scraps to sell to merchants and other NPCs throughout the game. Uh, and let's just say that at the beginning of the game, a salvaging gig goes awry, and that leads him to finding Pyra and awakening his first blade through her. Blades are subsidiary fighters who bestow their weapons upon the drivers. Drivers being who use the power of the blades to directly battle their opponents. So Rex would be a driver, and Pyra would be a blade. Um,
That said,
eventually,
not all
yeah,
blades use swords. Pyra's weapon
yeah,
is a sword, but then you have chakrams, you have like soccer balls, scythes, chain
it's
swords. There's some interesting
mm-hmm.
stuff.
It's quite the ensemble. And eventually, we'll say that Pyra is found to be one half of something called the Aegis, with the other half being her kind of sister blade, Mythra. So Rex is able to use the powers of both Pyra and Mythra, being affiliated with the elements of flame and light throughout most of the game. And the story mostly ties into Rex's connection to Pyra and Mythra and finding the true identity of the Aegis and how Rex connects to that story.
Spoiler alert, by the way, in case we didn't make that clear.
Spoiler alert, but I tried. I tried. I mean, it's not that big of a spoiler, is it?
I mean, you skirted around a couple things, but you weren't as blatant as Sakurai as a time or two. Oh, Mecha Fiora trophy? Wow, Sakurai. Wow, you just don't care about spoilers at all, do you?
Well, Melee came out, and then Zelda transforms into Sheik. It's so, yeah, yeah. But that's that. I think that generally gets the idea of who Rex is. Unless you think that we should add a little.
I think that tends to cover for the most part. I mean, the two of them have a long JRPG quest to find Elysium
Mm-hmm.
together. And Rex, he uses the power of multiple blades. Primarily, story wise, it's Pyra and Mythra. But he has like his huge utility. He more or less can become the master of all blades if he really wants to. But for this, we decided to just focus on the two of them. In game, he can swap between three blades at any time in battle, but that was just a bit too much complication. We didn't want to feel like, okay, so who's the third one are we picking?
If there's a third blade, I would have made it be Urshifu.
That is a Pokemon, but okay.
Well, collecting the blades is a lot like.
You're not wrong. Although I
You
might
want to play
argue
a
some
tiger,
blades. I might argue that some blades are a little bit harder to collect than the Pokemon.
tiger, burning bright.
Cosmos,
I agree.
for example. How about
Yeah.
leveling up Ursula?
Mm-hmm.
God,
No, I
what a
don't
pain in
disagree.
the ass. But now
Meh,
that
meh,
we've
meh.
yeah, now that we've kind of gone over Rex a little bit, I think it's time to jump into how he jumps onto the stage with his entrance animation.
Okay.
That's that first
Why don't you
segue for
go
you.
first?
So
Yeah.
mine is pretty simple. You see Rex, he jumps up from below the stage and out onto the platform as if he was returning from doing a dive down in the Cloud Sea to do some salvaging. It's fairly basic. He's returning from his salvager mission, and now he's just ready to fight. And,
Nice.
and then Pyro just shows up there with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I should note
uh,
that, much like some other characters back in the older days of Smash, like how in Melee or in Brawl you could choose if you want to start out as Zelda or Sheik, you would be able to
mhm.
choose before starting battle if you want to start out with Pyra at your side or Mythra at your side.
Good. Good point. It's something that I didn't make the distinction of in my set, so I'm glad you right. Um. So mine. Uh, I have two options here.
Uh huh.
So for the first entrance, it's akin to yours. I took a different angle though, wherein Rex drops onto the stage rather than jumping onto it from the bottom. He falls from the top with his arms and legs spread, similar to making a dive as a salvager.
Okay.
Uh, and then he lands on his feet, brandishes his sword. Gosh, I don't know what we'd be working with here. The broadsword from the start of the game, or what are your thoughts there?
The Aegis.
Okay, may as well. We already mentioned it a billion times.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the sword that he uses with Pyra and Mythra, so it doesn't make sense for him to just use a regular broadsword.
Yeah, so he brandishes the Aegis sword, and Pyra and Mythra stand beside him. There you go, and maybe he'll shout out one of his billion cheesy lines while he's at it. Okay, time to take you down, or he's like, together, and they're like, okay, yay, hooray,
Yay!
And that's it. Secondly, and this is going to be way too overly complicated, I think, but I thought I'd mention it anyway, where Azurda can be seen flying over the stage to drop them all off. But then in a swift flash of light, he enters that smaller pixie-ish form and drops into Rex's helmet as they hit the floor. Too much, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Cool. I think that one might be a bit much. Because the problem with animations with the entrances is that they're so fast. Well, you have some other ones where it's like, oh, the Condor brings in the Ice Climbers, or Wario rides in on his bike. They tend to be like right there. But I feel like dropping off of Azurda, it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah. Although, that is a distinction I'd like to make. Azurda being in Rex's helmet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he's there.
Throughout everything.
He's absolutely there. In fact, he's in one of my taunts. Had to.
Sweet doggy. But first we have to decide on an entrance.
Indeed we do. So we pretty much have diving down to do some salvaging or coming back from salvaging. Those are our two options. Which, makes sense, because I didn't really feel like there was much else that Rex could do for his entrance animation. That there wasn't really just like, oh, hey, he has this thing he does. And he doesn't. He dives into the cloud sea, and that's about all he does. It's not like he has a ship.
No. Okay, so you know what I would propose?
Oh?
You know what they say in Spain, don't you?
I've never been to Spain, so no, I do not know what they say in Spain.
They also say it on the front of a certain taco commercial, and that is "Por qué no los dos?" Close enough, but "Por qué no los dos?"
Why not both?
Why not both?
So how would this work then? Are you suggesting that Rex would be the first character to have two different entrance animations, just random which one happens?
Yeah. I mean, they both have to do with salvaging. They're both on pretty equal footing.
Huh. I can't say that's something I would have thought of. It's just no other character has that, so it's everybody just like has that one. They just have a singular animation.
That's true.
Even though some characters like Mario theoretically could have several different options.
Agreed. Well, what I figured when I said that is Rex comes from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So 2 of everything is good for him, right? I mean, that's why he has his 2 friends with him instead of just 1.
So you're saying that Byleth should have 17 entrance animations because he's from Fire Emblem 17?
Yes.
I don't think that's what you're saying at all.
No, but if we had to choose between you and I'm pretty much at a loss because it's like they're so similar. It's like
they are pretty similar. The only case that I would make for one or the other would be jumping up from below is something that none of the others do, while there's quite a few that are fall down on top or run onto.
That's true.
Or teleport to or whatever. Nobody really like pops up from below, which is a unique thing that Rex could do.
Yeah, falling from the top, as I recall, is also Shulk's entrance animation.
Probably.
So,
I mean, when you don't have anything else, it's pop them in, do a quick pose, and now they're ready to fight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, in that case, I would opt for yours.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's move on to the taunts and victory poses then.
Okay, darling.
So for my first taunt, I mentioned that I have Azurta making an appearance on one of them.
Oh,
And it's
Ozra's
just
making an appearance here.
yes, of course.
They're gonna be a water dance.
It is no,
Oh.
no. I don't even know what that is. So for my first taunt, I have Azurta. You know, he'll kind of like just pop out of Rex's helmet and look directly at the camera, looking directly at you. You get a quick wave to the camera as Rex says, "Morning, Gramps," and Pyra and Mythra are just standing there
Oh,
laughing.
nice,
I mean, I do tend to think my
nice.
ideas are rather nice, but thank you.
Hmm. No, I didn't have Gramps in there.
Ah, it's a shame. Real
Hmm.
shame there. But what do you have then for your first taunt?
Okay, for my first taunt, which I have assigned to up taunt, Rex throws a fist into the air, shouting, "This is too easy!" And Azurta joins him in his taunt, so he is also lifting his fist into the air, making a sprightly and chipper noise like "Yaha!" and throwing his fist up safely from inside of Rex's helmet. That's it.
Interesting because I had the exact same animation, but with a different quote. So for one of mine, Rex will clench up a fist and like raise it up into the air, and he'll say, "Let's show them a thing or three." With Pyra or Mythra, whoever is out will be sitting next to him, smirking as they strike a battle pose.
Good.
It's a
Nice.
very simple
Okay.
animation. Come on.
Yeah, it is. It is. Um, yeah, so secondly, Rex pulls the Aegis sword out, spins it around, and slips it back onto his back. And as he spins it, he'll shout, "I'll show you a thing or three."
There we go.
Pyra and Mythra and Azurta shout, "Yeah," and cheer him from behind. Although battle pose can work just as well.
It's funny how
I
even
see.
these
I
are
see
pretty
the.
similar.
I see the trajectory of where this is gonna go.
Well, for my third one, Rex will, he doesn't pull the sword out. He's already got it out. But he'll, take a couple swings with it, just preparing himself
Mm-hmm.
for the fight. As instead of Rex speaking, either or a Pyro or Mythra, who is out or out, will say the quote, "We can do this, Rex." And that's my third
Nice.
con. Pretty simple.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
And mine is just Rex turning his head towards Pyra or Mythra and saying, "Let's show him the way." And then Pyra and Mythra agree with a nod and strike a pose.
All right. So we got some very similar stuff going on here.
Frick.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's move on to the victory poses. I don't know that we'll have as much crossover like between tons of victory poses like we do a lot of times because like this is a game that actually has like victory quotes.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see what we do here. But for my first victory pose, I have Rex standing back to back with whichever blade is currently out, or was out at the end of battle, I should say. And Rex will just cockily say, "I could have done that blindfolded." Because he's a cocky little son of a bitch sometimes.
Yep. Yep. Classic. My first victory pose is Pyra or Mythra joining Rex in a victorious clap for themselves and their fallen opponents. As Rex says, more congenially when he's a good boy, he says, "Hey, good show." Simple.
Alright.
Hmm.
So my next one just has Rex letting out a short laugh, and he'll say, "Easy peasy," just because the fight was just that easy. And Pyro or Mythra will stand confidently next to him, ready for another fight. Pretty basic.
Okay, so second victory taunt for me is similarly enough to the taunt with his fist being thrown into the air. Rex throws a fist into the air again and has a shout in celebration, but in doing so, while he's getting into it, his helmet flies upwards and closes over his head. So both
Okay.
he and Deserta can be heard kind of mumbling their screams in a surprise, and Pyra and Mythra, depending on who's on used at the time, depending on who's out there. Like Pyra would lightly chuckle, or Mythra would grumble at them, but both would be fairly embarrassed of what they just saw.
Mythra would absolutely be facepalming.
Mm-hmm.
So my third one, this time around, Rex is a little bit more static. He's kind of just like standing there with his sword out in front of him. You know, he just won. He's happy about it. He's ready for more fights. But it's actually Pyra or Mythra that will speak here. And it all depends on which one is out, what they're going to say. If Pyra is the blade out in this victory pose, she will say, "Our bonds are as one." Meanwhile, Mythra will instead say, "You won the second you called on me."
Mm-hmm. Okay, final victory pose for me is Rex and Pyra or Mythra can be seen cheering on the back of a fully grown Azurta. As Pyra or Mythra remark, "Good job, everyone," and Rex shouts, "Thank you, Gramps." And then uh, it's posed in a way similar to Joker's victory pose. So they're moving on the Titan Azurta through a visible skyline constantly as this pose is happening.
Like Joker's all-out attack victory pose.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we gotta pick which ones we're using.
Yep. Yes, we do.
Never an easy time. So, I feel like, unlike before, none of our victory poses are going to become taunts. None of our taunts are going to become victory poses. They don't really lend themselves that way unless we, like, switch out the animations. But at least for the quotes, I don't think that's really going to change.
Yeah. I mean, my quotes are a little more generic than yours. And quite honestly, what I did, I looked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 quotes.
I did the exact same thing.
And I was like, let's find something because I slapped this
There's
together.
no good quote database either. It
No,
was rough getting good research because you would have thought that when we get to the attacks later, you would have thought that there's gonna be like compilation videos of all the various attacks so that we can just easily look at them, right? No, it doesn't exist. Why?
No. Mm-mm. As I told you before we started this broadcast, I was relying fully on just stumbling through the game again after not playing it in like a year,
Same.
and then just having like very few things to pull from GIFs or videos just randomly on the internet.
Yep.
Oh, and it was a pain.
It really was.
It was a pain in the ass.
It was difficult.
Mm-hmm. So, full disclosure, there might be things that I forget how they worked and couldn't quite find out where to even find it easily. So, you might be correcting me one or two times in our moveset.
And vice versa.
But I'm still looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Oh well, at least the feeling's mutual.
Yep.
But before we even get to that, yep.
Exactly. Let's get to the taunts first. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like we're definitely going to have one where Rex, holds up a fist. That's happening. It just kind of depends on what the quote might be, or maybe the quote will change on random because there's some taunts that work like that.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's think here. Like, remind me what quote you had for the fist taunt.
This is too easy.
Okay, and mine was, "Let's show them a thing or three."
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to pick one of those? Do we want to have it alternate, or do we want to like move one quote to a different animation? What are you feeling on this?
Oh my gosh. You know what I think is that potentially this might be too homogenous, but it's a thought. What'll help make this process a little more slipstream potentially is these are all fairly interchangeable quotes.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have them interchange even between taunts and then just have a database of quotes that for them to pull from?
Well, for some of the animations, I don't know how that really worked. Like, imagine the one where Azurta pops out of the helmet and waves at the camera as Rex says, "Let's show them a thing or three." Or Mythra will say, "We can do this, Rex." That one doesn't work well. Or vice versa on that. Rex holds up a fist and says, "Morning, Gramps."
Mm-hmm.
That That'll work really well.
You know what? I think we should do it.
I don't think that works. I really don't.
Okay. Well, it
It's
was
an
a good
interesting
thought
thought,
for us for a
but
moment. Yep.
depending on the animations we choose, it may just not work at
Yeah.
all.
Now, this is too easy, or let's show them a thing or three, though, are interchangeable.
Oh, absolutely. Like we could
So
easily have both of those.
we can. And then it's a case of we had let's show them a thing or three for one of my other taunts as well, and that was just him spinning the sword around. And that, to me, that wasn't necessarily something from source material anyway, so it might be a weaker link taunt, and we'll see if it even makes it.
I mean, Sakurai has said before that a lot of times taunts are just what he thinks would be funny. There's a taunt where Link pulls out this weird pose, like Link's melee taunt. What was that based on?
I have no clue, nothing.
Nothing. It was just this really weird pose that he strikes. Palutena has a goddamn pole dancing taunt. Where's that in the source material? Show me in Kid Icarus Uprising where Palutena pole dances.
It's somewhere in the source code.
Happen.
That was something Sakurai programmed for himself to decide. Oh my word.
That's possible.
Yes, it is.
But I do think we can have him hold up the fist and say this is too easy. And then either the one where he swings his sword or where he's like we both have different ones where he swings his sword out. Then that one he could say, let's show them a thing or three. I think that works out pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, cool. So I guess, are we agreeing on the fist in the air too easy then?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would also like to fast track the one with Azurta looking towards the camera, because speaking of funny, that one's full of personality.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So we're down to the wire here. What are we working with in your end again?
For the last one, I think we're gonna do like the only one I had left was like him swinging his sword on a couple times. You had one where he just like pulled off a little bit more intricate sword swingings, and I don't remember what your third was.
Mine was just him looking towards Pyra, being like, "Let's show him the way." Yeah, that was it. I think that the sword is, what was that?
I like the sword attack one. Is what I was trying to say.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, so sounds like we've got our 3 taunts then.
Okay.
Before moving on, though, I do want to real quick bring about an idea. So on the one where Rex holds up a fist and he says this is too easy, what if sometimes instead of him saying that, Pyra and Mythra will instead say the line, "We can do this, Rex." That way, the blades still get a little bit of the action in the taunts.
Agreed. And
all right.
Who wouldn't want a little bit of blushy, crushy action with Rex?
Well, Tora. I think he'd rather it with Poppy than with Rex, so.
Oh boy.
Also, I don't think Van Damme would be interested.
That's true. Well, so long as we're not talking about Tora.
I don't think Van Damme would be interested in Rex or Tora.
Good.
So, moving on from that, victory poses. So, brief recap to remind ourselves, we've got sitting back to back with his blade saying, "I could have done that blindfolded." We've got Pyra or Mythra saying, "Our bonds are as one," or "You won the second you called on me." And the third one I had was Rex laughing and saying, "Easy peasy." What were yours again?
Mine were Rex and his blade clapping, and Rex shouting, "Hey, hey, good show." Rex and Pyra or Mythra cheering on the back of the fully grown Azurta in the sense of something similar to Joker's all-out attack victory animation. And then Rex stumbling with throwing his fist into the air like in his taunt and having the helmet fly up over his head, and him and Azurta getting whiplash from out of it, and Pyra being a little embarrassed and chuckling, and Mythra full on facepalm.
Here, I'm going to throw this one out here. Let's
Hmm.
combine that last one of yours with the easy peasy. It's like Rex is celebrating, he's laughing. He says easy peasy because the fight was that easy. But then his
Hmm.
helmet slams down. It's like, wow, good job, kid. Fighting was easy, but you can't even keep your helmet on right. Wow, way to fail.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think that's an easy peasy combination and an easy peasy affirmative yes from me.
All right. So we got one locked in here. Then we got your one riding on Azurda, your clapping one, uh, the blindfolded speech, and then the one where Pyra or Mythra will say a different line.
Right. What are we thinking here?
Uh, honestly, I'm not
Uh,
sure. Actually, no, wait. You don't. Do you have a quote for the clapping one?
just hey, hey, good show. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Damn it.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking of combining that one with the Pyro or Mythra quotes as well. So maybe it could be that same animation, but sometimes it's Rex saying haha good show, sometimes it's Pyro saying our bonds are as one, sometimes it's Mythra saying you won the second you called on me.
Yeah, because your victory pose with that is just literally just them saying that, and that's about it, right?
Pretty much the animation is very static.
Okay, then yeah, we can combine those. Why not?
Okay. And remind me for my notes here what Rex says. Haha good show.
Hey, hey, good show.
Gotcha. Okay, I just want to make sure I have those notes written down
Now
correctly.
he can say hey, hey, he, he, ho, ha, ha, he, or hi, hi.
Ha 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 to the funny farm? Where life is
Yes.
beautiful all the time?
Yeah.
I hate my father. He always loved to say that fucking asshole.
Maybe that threw me off. Never
Yeah, it always threw me off too.
mind.
Jerk.
um, let's take it down to Lister's Pizza Farm.
No.
Okay. Well, I could enjoy the
That
pizza.
said, if you're ever in Columbia, Missouri, hey, Shakespeare's Pizza. Pretty damn good stuff. Gotta
Shoot, I'm
say.
going there next week.
Nice.
Sweet. And it lasts for a long time.
Yes, it does. So we
Holds up
got
in a
one more
good
victory
car ride.
pose. We've got we've got my one where it says I could have done that blindfolded, or we got riding on Azurda's back in a manner similar to Joker's. What?
Now, the blindfolded one is far more sensible, of course.
It is, but I was gonna see what you thought about the Azurda one.
I thought it's very entertaining. That's about it.
So it sounds like you're saying do the blindfolded one? Or am I misinterpreting here?
What are you saying?
I mean, I'm saying I like that quote and I want it to be used somewhere.
Okay, fine. Let's let's do the blindfolded one.
Sounds like you had an easy decision and you just didn't want to be the one to make it.
I choose the one with the Titan Azurda. Let's choose the blindfolded one.
Okay.
Although I have one suggestion for it.
What's up?
Rex says it while on the back of fully grown Azurda.
I thought you were going to stay on the back of fully grown Tora.
The back of fully grown Chucky Finster.
God damn it.
All grown up. Rugrats did it.
Yeah, that was an odd show.
It was. I mean, he really
Thankfully,
wanted that.
it's not the subject of today's episode. What a
Can we
shame.
like have? Can we have? Can we have this discussion sometime, like in a future episode?
You know, if we decided just to completely nuts and lose our minds, hey, let's talk about things that will never happen. Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
You might have to
things
give
that'll
me a
never
couple
happen.
drinks first.
I'll get you 2 waters.
I would have accepted cream soda, but okay.
I'll get you 2 cream sodas mixed with water. Um,
Hmm.
we got our victory closes down. That's pretty good.
Yes. So now we just
I
gotta
feel
figure
like
out the Kirby hat, and then we can get to our moves.
I wonder what that's going to be like.
I think it's gonna be Rex's hair, and then the Aegis blade on Kirby's back, just like Shulk's.
I was thinking the same, but I also had another idea. Uh, instead
I
or
swear to God, if it's
alongside
Kirby
the
on
Aegis
Azurta's
sword.
back, I'm gonna fucking go nuts.
No,
Good.
an Azurta plush in a replica
Jesus
helmet.
Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
And it's in my notes too. I'm not lying.
An Azurta plush in the helmet. How is Kirby gonna wear the helmet?
Just strapped onto his back, kind of.
What the fuck? Why do you do this to me?
I thought it was a good idea.
Did you did you
Yes.
think it was a good idea?
Yeah. It's on the me costume.
Yeah, because that actually fits proportionally. Kirby, it doesn't.
What if Kirby swallows Rex and then gets Rex's body proportions?
Then it's not Kirby. Then it's a mimic.
And then Kirby hat, like it's Kirby's face, though.
Oh god, that's terrifying. Can we not?
What if you woke up from a dream and you realized that Kirby actually was your stomach? Like
I
you
would
looked down
go back to sleep.
and he looked back at you and you're like, oh my god, it's Kirby. And you'd be like, Poyo. And then he'd try to swallow you, except then he'd swallow himself because he's a part of your body.
You know, if any of you out there are listening, you wonder why are these episodes so damn long? This is why.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Bringing it back down. Kirby getting Rex's hair with the miniature Aegis. That was always what it was going to be. I agree.
Yeah, and to be clear on the Aegis, I would imagine it's probably always going to be Pyra's Aegis and not Mythra's, no matter which blade
Yeah.
is out at the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Because, yeah,
it just keeps things simpler.
it does.
Plus, I mean, I don't know about you, but the Aegis isn't even used in my neutral special, so it's not like Kirby's ever going to be using it, at least for my ideas. I don't know. Maybe your neutral is different. We'll find out here. How about right now?
Ooh,
Ho ho!
I didn't think of Kirby when I made my neutral special. I might have to rethink this. But maybe you should go first.
Oh my god, what the hell did you do? Jesus Christ. So, to start off, it's pretty simple. So, for me, I decided to go with the move that Rex is kind of like. It's his. I don't know if I'd say his primary move, but it's like the move that he starts out with. It's his beginning game driver art, and it's just anchor shot. He shoots out a little. I'm not sure what it is at the end of it, but he shoots out a little projectile that's attached to a rope that he can just pull back to his wrist, and he hits an opponent, and he can either, depending on how you're tilting the control stick after using the attack, you can either pull them towards you or you can pull yourself towards them. And if you're using it in the air towards a platform, it can also be used as a tether recovery to get back up to a stage. Fairly simple move.
Very good. Yeah, simple but good utilitarian move. It would have, I would imagine that it wouldn't have a lot of damage-based properties.
No, it'd be very low in damage and no knockback.
Yeah, because in the game, even when you're just fighting Crabbles at the start in the Argentum market, it's a case of this barely does any damage to even the lowest level enemies, but you're getting something from out of it anyway.
It's more used for building up driver combos.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that's a fairly obvious inclusion and pretty sensible. So, do you know what is not obvious or sensible?
Anything that you come up with ever.
Yes, especially as it pertains to Rex's standard special.
What did you do?
I want to, over the course of my research for this episode, and admittedly, this is for every Smashtopia as well. Sometimes I look into Smash boards, I'll look into Reddit, I'll look into other like game FAQs.
As we both
Uh,
do.
yeah, as we both do, and see what other people have kind of thought up for Rex. I'm like, if they can kind of help me expedite this process because I can't find crap without going into the game. So what I wanted to do was highlight a move idea from a user on Smashboards called Altais, I believe their name is, and they started the Rex character support topic in newcomer speculation for Ultimate on Smashboards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so did you come across this in your research?
Possibly. When the moves that I was looking at that people had created, I didn't really like any of it. I just kind of went
Mm-hmm.
with my own thing. The only thing I really took from it is something I'll get to when I get to the down special, but
Okay.
otherwise, eh.
Okay, so Elemental Orb.
Oh, I do think I saw that actually.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
it seemed too complicated. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit, but in the case of Kirby, it's probably not going to work out. Um,
I mean, it
but
could
let's just go over it
become a
anyway.
down special.
That's also true, although it's actually tethered into the down special, so probably not, or
Well, shit.
maybe who knows. But so the idea that Altice had is that beside Rex's um, fighter portrait when you're on in the fray, it's a party gauge, similar to oh, exactly akin to the party gauge in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where you make combos and you fill it up. I mean, we're all familiar. It has the Roman
Yes,
numerals 1, 2, and 3.
the
Yeah.
elemental combos.
So, right, the elemental combos. So, as he dishes out damage or garners damage, the gauge will fill up between 1, 2, and 3. And each number corresponds with the number of elemental orbs that can be attached to an opponent. Uh, in it's a very not it's a complicated battle system that racks up combos and maximizes damage in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Here, in an attempt to simplify it, it's the orbs are attached corresponding to the number. So you can attach one orb at a time. So there can be 3 orbs at play at a time. And it could be split up in any sort of way. You can have 3 on one opponent. You can have 1 on 3 separate opponents. You can have 2 on one opponent and 1 on another opponent. Who knows? And you deliver these orbs by hitting them with a strong slash from Rex's sword. And after a certain amount of time, they will disappear. That would correspond. I'll just get the down special out of the way too, if that's okay,
Sure, go for
because
it.
because it directly goes with that. The orbs alone don't do much. It matters what happens as Rex racks these hits up and dishes the orbs out. Um, the more orbs that are over a singular opponent in the down special, the more damage and knockback they'll deliver when Rex opts for a burst. So he activates the elemental burst, makes the orbs burst in quick succession, and damage the opponents on a rising scale, depending on how many orbs are over them at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now, that could have been a lot easier because my other attacks were going to be uh, the exact same as yours, and then like spinning edge or something. And it could just as easily be that. But I thought that I would toss that out there, as both as an endorsement of the awesome community that is Smashboards and what's going on in that Rex thread, and also because I'm like, that was a good idea. I don't know if it's going to work for what we do, but I kind of wanted to bring it to attention because otherwise, I feel like Lister and I are just going to make the same moveset anyway.
That's fair. But
Yeah.
let me ask you a question on that because when I read that move idea as well, I was seeing. I was just kind of like both. It feels both a little bit extra complicated, but at the same time, there's something missing from it. And something that's I kind of felt like that with was the whole elemental combos in Xenoblade are okay. First, you hit them with a level 1 element, and then you go down the branching path trying to find appropriate elements for a level 2 and then a level 3. And it will end in
Hmm.
an attack like Steam Explosion, which is water and fire elements being used
Right.
together.
Right.
But from what I understood of this move, it's you're just adding an element. It doesn't necessarily do something like a Steam Explosion or uh, Lightning Overload or whatever some of the other ones are. There's like a Photon Geyser or something, or there's a black hole one, but it just felt like you're just adding an element to orbit. It doesn't even. I don't even know if there was a any differences to the types of elemental orbs. Like, does adding fire to somebody do something different than adding earth to somebody, or adding light, or water, or ice, or electric?
Hmm.
I didn't really quite get that from the move, and I didn't really have any ideas myself on how to incorporate that. But is there anything that you had in
Yeah.
mind for that to kind of make me flesh it out a little?
You know, now that you mention it, no, not at the start anyway.
It's a very complicated idea. Like it's not a bad idea at
Exactly.
all, but I feel like
No, no, it's not.
it
Because
feels
in
it feels
the
complicated in execution, but yet the results of it aren't as complicated as they should be in return, which is a weird
that's
descriptor.
true. No, no, you're as you explain it, I believe you are correct because I think the move incorporated into Smash for it to inherently reflect what it is in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And this is what I was getting at too, where I was like, oh man, I haven't played the game in a long time. Some of these more advanced mechanics, you're like, oh my god, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in this and chaining these combos, I don't really think like this was kind of the case of us avoiding things like the affinity link meaning much of anything. It may just simply be too overcomplicated.
I agree. So
But it was
it's one of those
it
things
was a
that
good
just
shot.
does not translate as well.
Right. There could be a way to make it work, and I'm not going to stop workshopping this necessarily, but for the sake of the episode, I don't know off the top of my head, so maybe we should move on.
Fair enough.
But it was an interesting idea.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yes.
Hmm.
So moving on, then we're gonna go to our side special. And I'll wait to do my down special until we actually get to that point because mine is it's a thing. It's complicated in a different way. But for my side
Okay.
special, it's fairly similar. I would not be surprised if we both share our side and up specials. But my side is Rolling Smash. So Rex will, he has out his Aegis sword. He does like a front flip forwards and then slams the blade down on whichever direction he's facing. It's kind of similar to Shulk's backslash in that it's got pretty good range, and he's essentially in a way just like slamming it down after a jump. Because this time around, it's a forward frontal flip, and then he slams it into the ground. And you don't really have the mechanic of, oh hey, attack from the back, so extra damage.
Yeah. It's in a way, I mean, people in the Xenoblade community often call it backslash 2.0, and it's kind of what it is. Uh minus the back part.
You're right.
And you would be interested to know that my side special is how do you call it? How do you say it? Rolling smash.
Not a shock at all. Does it work any
No,
differently though?
no.
Nice.
It's a very yeah, yeah, pretty much as similar as can be. So, bleh. I will say I had another idea, but I think that's neither here nor there. So,
I mean, if you got another idea, what can hurt in hearing it? Unless you think I'm going to call you a
because
moron.
no, because I'm transferring that to my new down special idea.
Okay, fair
That's why.
enough. Fair
Hmm.
enough. So then, I guess we might as well move on to the up special, which
Probably
should
going to be
we
the
say it at the
same.
same time? Should we say it on three?
Yeah,
One, two, three.
double
Double
spinning
spinning
edge.
edge. Perfect.
I love
Perfect.
it.
I mean,
I love
look,
it.
we both went into this knowing like Rex and Pyra, like the moves that they have are actually fairly limited in the Xenoblade games.
Hmm.
So similarly to Shulk, except that Shulk actually has like a lot more options than what Rex and
Yeah.
Pyra really have. It's just based on the differences in the gameplay styles. But
Hmm.
we knew this was going to happen, and it's fine. So some characters they're fairly predictable what their moves should be, and then you have characters like Mega Man that can have like 50 million things.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
a
I mean,
fun time. It's like, hey,
it's
Dante
kind
would
of
be great for
refreshing.
like Dante would be great for Smash. You know who I don't want to make a moveset for because they have too many options? Dante.
Phoenix, right? Oh, Dante. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's too much there. I don't really feel like doing it. Maybe one day,
Hmm.
but I don't feel like it right now. But
Me either.
Double Spinning Edge, the way I kind of imagine it is very similar to Link's subspecial. You know, he's rising up in the air, he's swinging his blade around. Except I feel like where the difference is going to be between Link and Rex here is that the attack is going to hit stronger. It's not going to take him as high up in the air, but it's going to be more like instead of like a continuous whole circle, it's going to be like one rotation, then a second rotation.
Dude, why? I mean, that is basically what I wrote. My note for this is really small. I'm like, Rex swings upwards, resulting in two hefty swipes on the rise up.
You know what's funny?
Hmm.
I wrote down Double Spinning Edge and I remember the
Hmm.
animation, but I didn't think of the details until just this exact moment.
Oh, good.
That's just how I roll. Anchor shot was more or less the same thing. The idea of being able to pull them closer to you or pull yourself closer to them, thought of that on the spot. It's like,
Hmm.
this needs something
Hmm.
more. Let me come up with it. Here's an idea. Let's go.
Oh boy, good times.
So, I think it's more or less locked that our side special is the up special. That's kind of going to be what Rex has to go with. And
And I
maybe the
think Anchor
elemental
Shot
orbs
is a
will.
lock for standard.
I mean, you don't know. Elemental orbs could come back.
Eh, yeah.
Maybe you hate my down specials. Maybe you
Okay.
just hate my down specials. But we'll find out when you hear them. Wait,
Okay.
did I say them in plural? Huh.
Oh, I think
That's
you
weird now,
did.
isn't it? So, my down
Oh.
special changes depending on which blade you have out. I really wanted there to be a reason to be able to switch blades between Pyra and Mythra besides stat changes, which we'll get more into when we get actually into the extra skill. But more or less,
Yeah.
the blades will affect your stats. But I also wanted them to affect at least one special move. I wanted them to be different somehow. So what I chose is for Pyra, if she's out in the field, the down special will become Prominence Revolt. It's her level 2, um, her level 2 blade art. I was trying to think of the term there, where she'll basically just like plunge the sword into the ground, and then like a torrent of fire will just burst up, either like around Rex or around an enemy. I think it's supposed to be around an enemy, but the way I'm translating it here for Smash that it'll just like circle around Rex and just like go up around him as to sort of be like an anti-air attack to hit people who are trying to hit you from above, but also if enemies like standing right next to you, they'll still be caught in the blaze as well. And I have it set so that you can charge this move up, and if you charge it up enough, obviously, damage and knockback is going to increase, and also how high the flame rises into the air will increase as well. It doesn't affect the left or right of Rex and making the flame expand outwards that way at all, however.
Okay.
Now,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, that's Prominence Revolt. But if you have
Very good.
Mythra out on the stage, it's not going to be the same attack. I mean, Pyra and Mythra have different elements that they attack with. Pyra is all about fire. Mythra is all about light. So I decided to take Mythra's level 2 blade art, Photon Edge, and that's what she's used for the down special. Instead of plunging the blade straight down and causing fire to erupt centered on Rex, she will instead she will rise up into the air just a little bit, form a really small bead of light, and then throw it diagonally down so that it lands a little bit of a distance in front of Rex, and then it explodes into a dome of light energy that can just blast
Ooh.
opponents away. And similarly to how Pyra can charge Prominence Revolt, Mythra can charge up Photon Edge to increase the damage, knockback, and size of that blast. It all depends on
Hmm.
I feel like for the most part, you're going to have out the blade for whichever down special you prefer to use. But there's other things, at least for my moves, that the different blades on can affect. I just really like the idea of having the down special be something that's affected by them. Plus, Rux's fourth blade art, or his fourth driver art rather, is just a thrust forward, and that's boring, and I didn't want to use it. So I had to come up with something else, and I like this idea.
Toro would think that that thrust forward is a very grand innovation, wouldn't he?
Toro would get a
For
blushy crushy.
yes, he would. Meh, meh, meh. For my down special, I had the same idea. Not the same moves though. The same general idea of having Pyra or Mythra activate a separate art.
Gotcha.
So, um, and in this purview too, they have very similar moves, but with different properties as well. So mine revolves around Pyra with Pyra on the field. The Aegis sword is thrown forward, and using their bond with Rex, kind of telekinetically spinning the sword in place at a vertical angle. So it's rising upwards a little bit, spinning
Mm-hmm.
in a quick circle. So it's blazing end, and any opponent caught up in that attack will suffer a series of blade-based damage before being dealt burst of fire that blows up like a dome around the blade. Um, and then with Mythra, it's Lightning Buster, so it's a lot more similar, I think, in general effect, perhaps, where the Aegis is still thrown forward and the circular motion still happens. Functionality is very similar, but instead of getting that fire based damage, you get light based damage with the potential for paralysis. There you go.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't Lightning Buster the move where Mythra will teleport around and slashing different opponents in the area?
Is it?
I thought it was. I could have that wrong, but I thought that was what Lightning Buster was.
Huh.
I'm
Do
gonna
we
have to
need
do a quick
a
check on that.
live research?
Oh, you know me. I've already got the page up. Lightning Buster slice an enemy multiple times with a blade of light. Oh wait, uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh well, okay, we're good. We're good.
Except now I'm a little unsure about my like the description it's given for my photon edge.
Hmm.
It's not quite being what I thought it was. It says move at light speed to cut the enemy instantly, but that doesn't sound like the move I described.
No, but there's been times where Smash has been a little cute with its translations, right?
Hmm.
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 Maybe not to the same degree.
No,
Okay.
I know that animation is one of the attacks that she has, but like none of her specials, at least on this wiki, are described the way that I remember this attack looking. So I feel like there's something little off there. But
I think we can.
it's yes.
Hmm? I was gonna. I personally think we can still consider your move. It's just we'll just have to do some extra research on figuring out what it's even named.
I'm pretty sure it's that one. It's just it's one of the moves. Just for some reason, the descriptions none of them like fit that really. But I wanted to mention that
Okay.
you said Blazing End for Pyro's attack. I
Hmm.
actually was really considering having Blazing End be Pyro's attack instead of Prominence Revolt myself.
Hmm.
Because it would be fairly similar to Photon Edge in that you're throwing out a type of projectile type of deal, and then it'll hit people out in front of Rex.
Hmm.
But there were two reasons why I chose Prominence Revolt over that. One, I thought it'd be nice to have like a different animation. I guess three actually, three ideas really. And I for I'm forgetting the name of it in Blazing End. I was trying to think like in terms of size. It just seemed like a gigantic attack. And then the third reason I had it down was just like Blazing End is level 3. Photon Edge and Prominence Revolt are both level 2s.
Hmm.
They can both be level 2s.
Yeah,
That
that's
was pretty
fair.
much my reasoning. But at the same time, you got Blazing and then Lightning Buster, which are both level 3s.
Yeah, and that's something I thought about when putting that together too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, oof.
Like, it really
I
makes
don't.
sense.
this is where we made our impasse because now we finally have separate moves from each other.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll get to actually discuss those. Huzzah!
Yeah, huzzah! Oh gosh, off the top of my head, they're both similar in the function. They both seem kind of like keep away moves in a sense.
Yeah, just in different styles
With
and where they're attacking.
yeah, yeah. So it could go either way. I, of course, am a champion of my choices.
Naturally, we always
But
tend to, generally speaking, we tend to have a preference for our own material.
yeah, there is no shortage of ego death among the co-hosts of this podcast.
Oh yeah,
Um, off the top of your head, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling we should look at the final smash.
Final Smash, okay,
Like always.
okay, like always.
So
All
final
right,
smash. Again, what final smash happens will depend on which blade is out at the time.
same here.
So if you've got Pyra out, it's going to be Burning Sword. If you've got Mythra out, it's Sacred Arrow.
What a surprise!
I mean, it's both of their
I
level
must say,
4s. It makes sense. Let's be
what a
real here.
surprise!
What else could it possibly be? Now, here's where we might
My
differ, though. How they're
Mhm.
utilized.
Oh, mine isn't even Burning Sword or Sacred Arrow at all.
What?
I guess we'll find out, right?
Okay. Oh, I think I might know what it is, and if that's what I think it is, I considered it, but I didn't want to do it because spoilers. Which you probably
I
now know what
I
I'm thinking of.
I considered that for a very brief moment. It's not what I was thinking of.
Okay. Well, there's two
Hmm.
potential spoiler things that it could have been. But anyways,
Hmm.
for Burning Sword, I have it as Pyra and Rex will both grab onto the Aegis blade. The fire will extend out from it to a much longer form than it normally is, and they'll do a very simple, just like swing from like the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, hitting a wide arc. You can more or less hit at least half the stage of battlefield with this attack. Or I think actually I wrote it down as full battlefield. Like if you're standing on like the far edge of battlefield, you can hit the entire stage. But it's
Wow.
only a single swipe through. It's just one quick attack. It's not a cinematic at all. You don't have to rush up to one person and trap them in a string of attacks. Just like simple swipe. You can easily be on the other side of them and you're safe. Or if you can dodge the route time, you'll be safe. Relatively basic.
Hmm.
With Mythra's Sacred Arrow, it's similar going to have like the same range of field where you can attack, but instead of just being like one chop, it's more like kind of like how Ness and Lucas have PK Starstorm, except instead of like these massive meteors that are falling, it's these smaller beams of light that are constantly hitting a diagonal arrow in the direction that Mythra and Rex are facing, dealing damage with each potential hit against somebody.
Nice. Very nice.
So it's
Very
yours.
nice. So it's yours. Okay, so you were thinking spoilers, and I think anyone who's played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 relatively towards the end know what spoilers you're talking about. And those were not the spoilers that I was thinking of. My spoilers actually have to do a little bit more with towards the very beginning of the game, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm. So get this: Rex jumps into the air off screen, and then suddenly, on the Titan Azurta, they fall down on the opponents, and Azurta dies on top of them, but then transforms into his younger self and goes back into Rex's helmet.
What is wrong with you?
With what part?
Killing Azurta. Also, what? You, first, you want Azurta to be the entrance. Then you want him to be a victory animation. He's already a taunt. And now you're wanting to kill him in the final smash. This is some Crom appearing in Robin's final smash against Crom level of bullshit. I know you're trolling. I know you are.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, that if this were Eric, perhaps it would have been true.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to our friend Eric, otherwise known as Flamezone, by the way, for being a finalist in the 2020 Intercollegiate Business Competition, where they'll be going to Kingston, Ontario, a little later this month in January 2020 to compete an international math and business-based competition. We never knew you were that smart,
I
and we're
mean,
happy for you.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was thinking it.
So, you may be surprised that my Final Smash is blazing as not blazing end. I'm reading the wrong thing. Burning Sword and Sacred Arrow.
That's what I thought.
Now, functionally, it's different, and I actually like yours better because mine is the general cinematic, and it's actually even more generalized because what I did was have Pyra and Mythra join Rex in the cinematic. Once you've attacked, like the only difference is the way that it's activated. So with Pyra, she'll summon the column of fire that shoots down from the Aegis uh, to connect with opponents, like similar in the arc like you. And then they'll enter a cinematic, and it's not as big as all of Battlefield, maybe like half of an arc of Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Mythra, same idea, but then she'll summon a few columns of light that shoot down from a diagonal angle, so to make it a little bit different. But then I had it written down that they both join Rex in the cinematic, where Mythra activates the full power of Sacred Arrow, and Pyro activates the full power of Burning Sword, while Rex slams down his sword for the final cut and sends the opponent flying. It doesn't necessarily need to be that way. Like it could be a cinematic with only Pyra or only Mythra with Rex. But at the same time, I was kind of conceptualizing it just based off of how Ultimate has those like quick cinematic final smashes for everything, which I still don't know if I like having most of the characters have those in Ultimate anyway. And yours is a little more unique.
To a degree, like I don't mind cinematic Final Smashes in Smash Brothers. I think that for a lot of times it works, and for certain attacks, it's the best way to display that attack compared to like just being on the field and doing something. So some things
Yeah.
would not translate well to the normal Smash field of combat, whereas while in a cinematic they can work. Imagine if Captain Falcon called the Blue Falcon down and actually crashed into the actual stage. Doesn't quite work so well. Or the Yoshi Stampede. It wouldn't work so well on an actual stage, but as a Final Smash
Mm-hmm.
cinematic, it's great. But I do agree
Mm-hmm.
with you that Ultimate has too many cinematics, and I think a large part of that is because Sakurai decided on the initiative of making Final Smashes quicker, and so you can get back to the fight a lot faster, which I understand. It's not a bad idea, but it came at the cost of all the transformation Final Smashes, and then some of the cooler, unique ones too, which is a bit of a
Like
shame.
Wario's final smash was totally neutered.
Yeah, it really
That's
was. Which it was fun
mm-hmm.
having that be a nice gimmick, and I thought, oh, I'm trying to think of one. Like the Mega Evolutions, we're not going to have them be like they were anymore. Lucario's got changed back to what it was in Brawl.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yep.
a bit of a disappointment. So that was part of why with my Final Smash I didn't want to make this cinematic because we've already done several of those. Gengar's is a cinematic, Waluigi's is a cinematic, uh, Porky. You know, honestly, I don't remember what we did for Porky's Final Smash, but it was probably a
Don't ask me.
cinematic. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably a cinematic. So I wanted to just do something
Oh, I
different with
remember.
mine. What was it?
Ooh, that was a good one. Wasn't it summoning Gygus?
Yeah, Devil's Machine. That's what it was. So yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many of them. It's an easy way to do them, but sometimes you just want a different flavor.
Yep. Did someone say an easy way to do them? Blushy crushy?
Dear God, Tora is not in this game.
No.
Tora does not even get an assist trophy. Fuck Tora. We'll give Poppy an assist
That's
trophy
what he
instead.
wants.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay,
never
good.
going to get it. There will be no junior pawn. No,
Okay.
I refuse.
If Tora had a child, I would hope that he named them Azurda.
Actually, I'm not. That would not surprise me. Actually, now that I think about that, I see that happening.
Yep. Anyway,
Anyway, before we actually select our moves, the last thing we need to discuss is the extra skill, which we've already kind of said it's blade switch or blade swap. I don't know if you have a
I
different
called.
name for it.
I got cheeky and called it Aegis swap.
Oh,
Yep.
I like that. I think I called it blade switch because switch is the actual use. That's the word that's used actually in game instead of swap. So maybe like Aegis switch. Well, no,
That
Aegis swap sounds a lot better than Aegis switch. It flows
true.
much better. So I like that as Aegis swap instead. That's good. I'm gonna pencil that in.
All right.
So naturally, you use the extra skill, you use Aegis swap. You're switching up between Pyra and Mythra. So your down special, if it's my down special, will change, and then your final smash will change as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also figured, you know what? I feel like it needs to be a little bit more than that. Like there needs to be more than just those few changes whenever you're switching out between Pyra and Mythra, and we might differ on what those changes are. But for first of all, the way the Aegis blade is going to look differs. With Pyra, it's got this red fiery effect to it. With Mythra, it's white. It's got this pulsating light. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we need to do something with the stats as well. And I'm not like fully set on these. I'm kind of like mixed on them. But with Mythra, I kind of like the idea of her stats would turn Rex into a bit more of a glass cannon. So if Mythra's on the field, Rex's damage and knockback output is increased. However, he's also a lot more vulnerable to damage and knockback as well. So, you might be able to knock your opponents away a lot easier, but they're also going to be able to get to you a lot easier as well.
Yeah.
And then for Pyra, I was focusing more on speed. So he's going to be able to run faster and do faster attacks, but it's going to come at the cost of a little bit of strength and some lower jumps.
You mean with Mythra?
No, with Pyra.
Okay. I'm just making sure we're
Mythra's
on
the
the
glass cannon.
same track. Okay. Okay.
I know I said them backwards. That's because I like the idea for Mythra more than I like my idea for Pyra.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
So what do you
Uh,
have with Aegis Swap?
that's interesting. Same idea, just different stat changes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for Pyra, I associated it with the glass cannon idea of attack and knockback with the decrease in lower defense and stuff. And honestly, it was for no reason other than associating fire more with offense.
Fair.
Um, Mythra, I granted with Mythra on stage, I'm granting Rex a higher defense and higher defense and speed, but with less damage and knockback to deal, as in like his attack power is lessened.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
interesting thing with both of these is that Rex never has like a neutral on his attack strength. It's always either going to
Hmm.
be more or less than average. It's an
Hmm.
interesting way to take it, and I kind of like that. I don't think it necessarily matters too much who is the who's less cannon and who has less attack but more speed. You
Hmm.
mentioned the reason why you did Pyra for the glass cannons because fire strong.
Hmm.
The reason why I went with Mythra was because Mythra is the original form of the Aegis, and it's the legendary blade that was used by Adam way back when. She's essentially Pyra, but with less restrictions on her strength, which is why I went the glass cannon approach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Canonically speaking and spoilery speaking.
Indeed. Spoiler
Hmm.
alert, if you weren't paying attention.
Oh, Azurda dies, but not really.
That's true.
That
Rex
was
dies,
my
but not
initial
really.
final smash. Yep.
Everyone dies, but not really.
Shulk dies, but not really. Juju dies, but not really.
Nobody likes Juju.
That was
Nobody.
my name in high school.
It still is.
Oh boy.
Juju!
There's a brave few that call me that still.
Alright, so now we gotta figure out which moves we are going to go ahead and keep.
Hmm.
We're both agreed on side of special. Rolling Smash, Double Spinning Edge, those aren't going anywhere.
Hmm.
Final Smash is some form of Burning Sword and Sacred Arrow, which I
Hmm.
think you had said that you were leaning more in, but I want to make sure I understood correctly there.
Yeah, I was leaning yours.
Okay, so it's my rendition of Burning Sword and Sacred Area where it depends on which blade is out, which attack it happens, and it's not cinematic at all.
Hmm.
Each swap will be the same thing. It's just depending on who's the glass cannon or not. What are your thoughts?
Uh, I defer to your idea again because I wasn't thinking about backstory at all when I went forward with that.
Okay.
Um, you know, and I could see Sakurai going either way as well. So canonically, of course, I mean, not non-canonically, for Smash purposes, it could go either way. But I like the idea of giving Mythra the bone here.
All right.
Ooh, that came out wrong.
I mean, I was just gonna move on, but then you had to bring attention to it, like fucking Tora would. Jesus.
Anywho.
So last thing up is we have the standard and down special. I had down Anchor Shot and then the mix of Prominence Revolt and Photon Edge. You had two possibilities. Either the
Mhm.
Elemental Orbs, which would combine both standard and down being connected there, or having it down, which was Blazing End and Lightning Buster.
Mhm.
I'm
Oh
assuming that
man.
you're feeling about ditch the Elemental Orbs.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Again, it was a cool idea, but it needs to be fleshed out further.
Right. It needs further research.
Yeah. So maybe when Dromark becomes a character, we can.
Sure.
No, I've got it. Titan Azurta.
God.
Barst.
No, no. If we are ever getting an axe wielder in Fire Emblem for Smash, it is not going to
Dorcas.
be Barst or Dorcas. It's going to be Hector, or it's going to be Edelgard, or it's going to be somebody from a game that hasn't released yet.
Ike with Irvin.
Okay, or it could be Grail. Fine. But no. It's going to be Hector
Ronolf
or
with an
Edelgard.
axe.
No,
Anyway.
no. Moving the hell on. So, standard special is going to be Anchor Shot then, I believe, since you didn't have another neutral besides the orbs.
Uh, and I think Anchor Shot is such an iconic move to Rex that even, it's Anchor Shot. It's
It's got to
not
be there somewhere.
extremely special. That Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So then it's the
Down
down
special is
special.
where it's at. Yeah.
Right. So we got Prominence Revolt and Photon Edge, or Blazing End and Lightning Buster.
I think one of the greatest arguments for my moves here
Mm-hmm.
is that we know that they function how they do.
I mean, we know what they function how they do too. Like
Hmm.
I know how mine functions. Just the descriptions on the wiki. Like I know that there's a move where she shoots at an orb and it creates a dome of light energy, but none of her moves on the wiki are describing that. Like none of them match that. That doesn't mean the move. That doesn't mean the move doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's like which one of
Sure.
these sounds like it's throwing out a dome of energy? Fire concentrated arrows of light at an enemy. No. Move at light speed to cut the enemy instantly. No. Slice an enemy multiple times with a blade of light. No. Rain down arrows of light from above to tear the enemy apart. None of these sound like that move, but that move exists. How do I know? Because I kept using it to make sure I was watching the move and understood how it worked correctly.
Okay. I believe you, and we believe you. We are loyal to you here at the Pizza Farm.
And after we record this, I will check to make sure in the game, and if we have to make an edit, changing what it is, fine. But I'm putting my money on that it's Photon Edge.
Okay. No, we believe you.
Do you?
Yes, of course I do. I never not do not do believe you.
Bullshit.
um, it's interesting because something that I would give your attacks otherwise is that this more ethereal elemental edge to Pyra and Mythra is something that is so akin to their
All
character
right.
that we see in your rendition of Burning Sword and Sacred Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
But Otherwise, if we have um, just his whatever the standard, the side, and the up all be kind of rec centric moves that are more melee based, then yours would give us more of an opportunity to have an elemental based move in the standard moveset that we wouldn't have as much of
Hmm.
with something more based on the Aegis sword with my move.
I mean, the Aegis sword in that move, it is like it's basically a fire blade that's spinning around. So there is still that
Mm-hmm.
element to it. It's not like it's just a sword. It's still got the fire spewing out of it.
True. True. I'm just trying to make this easier one way or another.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying like it's not just only one elemental move. They both are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
That's
I
true.
just watched the move. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I just found a video of it. I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. It's Ray of Punishment, apparently, which doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Is Ray of
That's weird.
Punishment a move that's on level playing field?
It's the level one,
Okay. Okay.
which doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't. Um, that's a point for Blazing and Lightning Buster them because they're both level 3.
I'm trying to like
Feels like
watch more of the clip to make sure.
okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And the level two is the one I was thinking of. That's the teleport slashing around. That I
Oh,
thought
okay.
yours was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if I can see in this clip what her level three looks like, so that we have that on note.
Okay.
Except it looks like they're building up to her level four, so I can't really see the level three when they use the four.
They use the 3 on the floor. Will Azurta fall from the sky
No,
and damage all opponents?
no.
Oh, well, it happened in the game.
Okay, it looks like level three is just her swinging the blade around several times in one place.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely. And also boring.
yeah, pretty much. She was hard to pick up move for. I must have just had the wrong
Mm-hmm.
name.
Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, yours is more flush with the truth then, because I was misinterpreting Lightning Buster as it turns out.
I mean, it happens.
It happens. And then there's also the possibility of swapping one move and another and having one half of the move be mine and one half of the move be yours.
What
Hoo-hoo.
would you suggest?
Uh, I don't know where I'm taking this.
Ah,
Just lobbing the idea out there. Like it could be Blazing End and the ultimate regret of Exodia or whatever you just said. Or it could be the primordial expanse or whatever Pyrus move was on your end. I forget the name.
Prominence
And
Revolt.
yes, it could be Prominence Revolt. And yeah, pretty much Blazing End is valid and my Lightning Buster is not. So it's Blazing End or Prominence Revolt alongside this level 1 move, I suppose.
The level one move, that's the one that's being named, if I can get back to it, Ray of Punishment.
Amazing.
Yes. These moves just make no sense with their names. Let's be honest here.
No,
They are not
no,
descriptive at all.
no, they aren't.
So, if I was to put my viewpoint on it, if you do Ray of Punishment and Ray of Punishment and Blazing End would hit a very similar arc path in their kind of attack. It's just really changing it from being a multi-hit to a single hit, and the exact shape of the attack and how strong it is. Promise
Hmm.
Revolt is more of an upwards attack, hitting anti-air enemies, and I don't remember. And then your lightning buster, which is pretty much just multiple sword strikes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's more of,
Yeah.
do we want them to both to have their attacks be a little bit more similar in where they appear and how they function, or do we want them to be hit different types of areas?
That's true. Oh, it would be more beneficial to the gameplay to have them hit different areas, I think.
That's kind of, I agree with that.
Okay. Then I guess you're going with your mix if I'm thinking correctly.
I think so.
Okay, that's fine.
Well,
Alrighty.
so then
Whoa.
we got the moves all there. Took a
Yep,
little
the
bit of
moves
time
are all
there.
there.
Yeah, it took both less and more time than I was expecting,
Me too.
which is
What
weird.
a thrill that was.
Yeah,
Well, there's a bit of hamming around from you, of course.
from me.
Yes.
Uh huh. Sure. I'm the ham sandwich in this duo. Right.
No, you're the pizza triple layer.
No. So,
Okay, what are you then?
well, I'm moving on. Is what I am. Because we're an hour and a half into this.
Holy moly, it doesn't feel like it. Okay.
Well, you know. So,
I
the next thing we tend to cover is any like extra or special abilities that a character might have. Something like Bowser's tough guy mechanic, or whether or not they can wall jump, wall cling, or whatever. For me, with Rex, beyond the tether recovery with the anchor shot, I really
mhm.
didn't have anything written down for him. What about you?
uh Affinity Link, the anchor shot, and then I had this wacky idea that wouldn't be too
Hold,
pertinent to.
hold
Yeah,
up. Let's go back. You said Affinity Link. I thought that was just going to be an aesthetic.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, that wouldn't fall under the special abilities then.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Anchor shot is a grab and tether, though.
Yes,
Obviously.
absolutely.
But I was thinking, Rex is able to essentially be the master of all blades if he wants to, as you said at the start of this podcast.
Yes.
Um, Perhaps he can use every blade in the game. No, just kidding. Standard. I was thinking his standard moves, which you don't really talk about
Okay.
in Smashtopia
Mm-hmm.
all the times, but maybe they could reflect uh, weapons and skills endowed to you by other blades. So he can incorporate the Aegis into his moveset, but also other swords or scimitars or scythes or fans or rings or balls or whatever to differentiate himself from other swordsmen.
Hmm. It's not something I thought of. That's an interesting idea. It would make his
Mm-hmm.
neutral attacks, or not necessarily neutral attacks, but like his regular jabs, his smashes, his aerials. It makes them a little bit more different. The only thing I
Yeah,
had thought on those moves were depending on which blade is out at the time, they're either gonna have like a fiery effect or a light effect. That was really all the thought I had done on them.
that could be it. That could be it too. I mean, it makes sense, but and it gives Pyra and Mythra more to differentiate themselves.
Right. And Rex can't use those other weapons without switching to a blade who utilizes those.
Hmm.
So he can't use like if he has Pyra out, he's not going to have a chain whip sword or scythes or a ball that you can kick around, anything like that.
Hmm. Right.
It's something to think about though. And maybe,
It's
somebody out there that's listening might want to give their feedback.
Yeah. Um, I was thinking, what can I can't recall. Can Byleth use Dimitri and Edelgard and Claude's relics in Three Houses?
I never really attempted to. Suppose the way the relics work in Three Houses is you have to have the correct crest in order to use them to their full potential.
Right.
Otherwise, you're
Right.
hurting yourself every time you attack with that relic.
Hmm.
But it's possible Byleth is an exception since he has special crest stuff going on. I don't know. I never
Hmm.
attempted it. And with the I didn't use the relics when I played Fire Emblem Three Houses, except for like the final map. Then I equipped them to everybody else because it's sort of like the last hurrah. I didn't like the recharging mechanics, so I just never bothered to use them.
Yeah, that's true.
They
Okay,
also
then I think
largely look ugly as hell.
also true.
Like
We
sort
can
of the
bat.
creator and Thunderbrand, those look fine, but Failnaught, Eridbar, and Amir, I don't like how any of those three look. Failnaught's not bad, but Amir especially, just like that's just too big, and Eridbar is just like too round for a spear. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't like them.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think that since Byleth is incorporating the relics into his moves, that potentially being a little more out there with how we incorporate other weapons into Rex's movesets could be something more plausible.
Yeah,
It would require a bit of research. But it's nothing too intensive because we're not covering standard moves here, or else it would be like another hour. So,
correct.
I guess alternate costumes, right?
Alternate costumes. I've got a list of 10 here for mine. And I have it to where he's got 5 of his regular salvager outfit, but another 5
Mhm.
of his master driver outfit, which is a lot more techie looking, a lot more sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So for the salvager ones, I've got his default blue, the one it's just the regular costume stuff in the beginning of the game. But then he's got a white variant based on Mythra, a yellow and white variant based on Nia, green and turquoise based on Van Dam, and then a black, red, and gold variant all based on Morag.
Nice.
And then for his master driver outfit, like the main one is kind of like a white slash silver with green accents. But for
Mm-hmm.
the first master driver alt, I have one based off of Pyra, which is very much red. There's a blue and tan alt, which is based off of Tora, black and silver based off of Zeke, and then for the final one, an alt that has a white, black, and gold color scheme based off of Adam, the legendary
Ooh,
driver who previously wielded Mythra back during the days of Torna and the Golden Country.
nice.
What about you?
What about me? I can tell you forthrightly, I have 10 costumes, but none of them are the master driver because I totally forgot.
Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
I threw a tomato
Are
at
you
you.
gonna lock me in your dungeon now?
No, I don't want you here any longer than you already have been.
Okay. In that case, let's move on through this pretty quickly. Um, so I'll just go through color schemes, and if you like any of them, we can potentially apply them to master driver or regular driver schemes. But we have the same general idea. It's just that I went a little bit further to also influence Pyra and Mythra through the alternate costumes. Uh, so like, there's the default,
So like
but then
giving
there's
different colors to Pirate and Mythra, you mean?
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like, so the outfits are based on drivers and their blade. So one is Nia and Dromark, where Rex has a orange, red, and white outfit based on Nia, and his hair can be grayish or silverish too, like hers, or not. I haven't really decided on where I'd rather veer that. And then Pyra and Mythra can get white, gray, and light blue outfits to reflect Dromark. Uh, Similarly, like a Tora and Poppy thing, where you have that tan and blue, pink accented outfit
Hmm.
for Rex, and Pyre and Mythra get purple, white, and red outfits to reflect Poppy. Um, Van Dam and Rock, brown, green, teal outfit, orange, red, and blue for Pyre and Mythra. Zeke and Pandoria, silver, green, tan, black-ish thing for Rex. Green, purple, and gold for Pyre and Mythra. One thing that I'm realizing I didn't quite consider is how the green, purple, and gold would be or how the different colors would be separately represented on Pyra and Mythra because their individual designs
That's
are
something
so
I was thinking
unique.
of as well. Is that it sounds like for
Mm-hmm.
each of these alts, with exception to the default, where
Mm-hmm.
Pyro would be red, Mythra would be white. Like for for Van Damme's one, like you have Rock's color scheme on both Pyra and Mythra,
Hmm.
which could, as
What?
you're playing, create a little bit of confusion on who was out at the time.
Yeah. But the change can be in the order of the color scheme at the very least. Like perhaps Pyras can in the rock, for example, could be primarily red, and then Mithras could be primarily blue, with the other two colors being accented.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I didn't fully write that out like I should have. But yeah, I thought I'd bring it up because as I was reading it, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to write that down.
Hmm. I mean, I do like the idea of Pyra and Mythra having similar colors. That does make a lot of sense. I didn't have to really
Hmm.
think too much on it though, because bit of a pain. And
Yeah.
also, if I went with just like only drivers, that means I can't have a red outfit for Rex based off of Pirate or a white outfit based off of Mythra.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it would be cheeky. Like if you do the Pyra outfit for Rex, Pyra can then have a Rex outfit.
Or just darker red.
Yeah, also true. Um, and then Morag and Bridget, black, gold, and red Rex, and purple, black, and blue in different variations for Pyra and Mythra.
Hmm.
I have one based on Malos and Sever for some antagonist stuff going
Malus was
on.
the last one I cut.
Nice. Yeah, he's pretty near the end of the game when you finally get to cut him. Um, with a black and gold outfit for Rex and like black, gold, and blue for Pyra and Mythra. Shulk and Fiora.
Oh,
I'm reflecting, yeah, different games in the series as well. So where Rex's hair would be, Rex's hair can be blonde. I haven't decided on hair
there's
color change.
nothing to say that his hair can't change colors. I mean, other characters do. Look at Lucina.
Yeah, very true. Red, black, and white outfit, and then Pyra and Mythra get variations of yellow, silver, and gold for Mecha Fiora. And then Cross and Elma, the Avatar Husk from Xenoblade Chronicles X. Cross, rather. Um, Gosh, we talked about that at the start, didn't we? No, pre-podcast.
Yeah,
Good times.
that was a
Uh,
pre-podcast discussion.
yeah, but anyway, where I'm thinking of a default for Cross, like red hair for Rex with gray, orange, and black outfit, and then Pyre and Mythra can get variations of white, red, and black to reflect Elma. Um, yeah, and then 10 I had down as Adam as well, but then I realized, given my colors, given my idea, um, Adam and Mythra, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. So
I mean, you could have to where they swap colors. Pyro goes
that would be
white,
interesting.
Mythra goes red.
Oh man, yeah, that works. Okay, cool. There's my underbaked costume ideas.
I mean, the costumes don't have to be like fully realized. Like neither one of us is gonna has the Photoshop abilities to grab a render of Rex or and whoever else and like actually edit in the colors to actually make that have like, hey, look, here's our alt. We don't have that capability. We just have like,
Oh, that would
okay,
be cool.
so based off of this character, give it this color of color scheme, and that's fine. You
Yeah.
don't have to go
Now, as
super
for my
weird.
11th, based on Azurda.
No, fuck off.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're crunching on the time here, so let's get to the stage and let's get this out of here.
Right. So, stages for this game. I mean, you can choose any of the Titans, kind of like based off of that. And I feel like if you're going to do that, it's going to be based off of Gourmand, because that's kind of like the big open area that you get to early in the game. But
Hmm.
outside of that, it said how to be the Cloud Sea. That's the stage itself. Just as many Azurda jokes have been made in this godforsaken podcast. This stage is very much like a pirate ship from Brawl. You're fighting on Azurda's back as he swims around through the Cloud Sea. And maybe as you're going through things, you'll encounter some hazards that are trying to attack you. So like some of those
Yeah.
mechanical enemies that can fly that you encounter towards the end of the game, or maybe you make a brief stop at Gorma and you have a little bit of extra land that you can fight on. But the basic idea is it's a Zerta. You're swimming through the Cloud Sea, and you can kind of like tour the world around you in the background.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of different titans in the background as well while you're going around, like Goldmouth or whatever.
Exactly.
That would be cool. And you can see maybe certain sites like the Argentum Trade Guild in the background. You can stop by and visit Bana,
Nobody wants to visit Bana.
or yeah, I want to pet some Crabbles on my way. Um, yeah. So the good news here is that was my exact same idea.
I mean, it's really the only real solid idea besides, again, Gormont.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess you could fight on
Or
top of Argentum, but eh.
yeah, I mean, I had an idea for that too, but
There's also Elysium,
like
I
I was
guess,
thinking of
but
breakable boxes and stalls and stuff, but I feel like they actually kind of have that in the Garreg Monastery now. So,
yep.
so that's that. I'm glad that Azurda got his keep in the end.
I mean, I'll just. I knew it's like he's gonna fucking ruin it because he keeps fucking mentioning goddamn Azurda.
I sure did. It was a fun one cracking this out. What's funny is we had such a struggle back in October trying to figure out this move set, and
Mm-hmm.
then at the end of the day, almost everything that we came up with rooted back into the same general idea for both of us.
And I think a lot of the reason for that is we knew that it was likely going to end up like that, but we didn't necessarily want it to be. We wanted it to be a little bit more than that. But then as we were like doing our research, we were just like, this is pretty much what the moveset has to be.
And
Like
that's fine
unless you want
because
to
it's
start getting like wild and crazy with things, which honestly, I'll say this. Something that's annoyed me about a lot of Smash characters that's been introduced, starting with Smash 4, is there's a tendency to give them a gimmick when they don't need a gimmick. Like, not every character that's added needs to have a completely unique fighting style or to have, like, this one gimmick that they're surrounded between. It can work with some characters, sure, but you don't need it for everyone. And I feel like that's something that's
yeah,
been lost lately. It's really
yeah,
disappointing.
I agree. So,
With
nevertheless,
that,
I
I
think
think,
that this episode um turned out pretty well though. A
yeah,
little overly long, maybe Azurda fell, but it was a good chat. And we done did it. So
indeed
what were
we
you gonna
did.
say? We're gonna announce another episode on the way. You're saying?
We're still doing episodes.
Yes,
Damn
apparently so.
it.
I think it's been like half a year now. That's shocking.
Yeah,
Good for us, and good for all of you for listening.
indeed.
One day it'll be a few hundred, 1,000.
Oh God, no, please no. But
Yep.
what we're not gonna be hitting 100 anytime soon. But next time on episode 12 of Supercast Brothers, we've got another Smash or Dash for you all. As always, two different matchups. The first of which being between two mages from spin-off games, and then three lords of different houses.
Mm-hmm.
Who will choose to add the Smash, and whose hopes will we dash? I don't know, but we're gonna have another guest. Stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir. And until then, I guess we're calling it a wrap on this episode of Supercast Brothers.
I hope Azurda falls on you and you die.